connected with God. Each of you should know how to possess his own vessel in sanctification and honor, not in lustful passion, like the Gentiles who do not know God. What's he saying? He's saying, if you yield to a life driven by lustful passion, you act like you don't know God.
Your attitude to sin is going to be the most important thing that's going to matter when you stand before the Lord. Let me tell you that. That everyone that names the name of Christ depart from sin.
You've heard me speak about internet pornography a number of times. It's a man who's losing his love for God who clicks on some site to watch internet pornography. That's one of the clearest evidences that his love for God is going down. Because iniquity shall abound. There's plenty of iniquity on the internet. The love of many will grow cold. Is that happening to you?
30% of internet pornography is viewed by women?
No.
It'll feel so good. And that's the lie. It's a half-truth because sin does feel good. And some of you may be sitting there right now saying, frankly, I would rather be there than here. But I'll tell you, and your own conscience bears witness, you don't need anything more than your conscience. Yes, it feels good, short term. And then comes the remorse, then comes the misery, then comes the guilt, then comes the shattered family, then comes the ruined career, then comes the late night grieving, and then in the end, if you haven't learned to fight at all, then comes hell. Which is why Hebrews 11:25 talks about the fleeting pleasures of sin. Sure, they're pleasures. Nobody's arguing that. Go do your thing if you want to, but it's going to fly away. Guilt and pain are gifts of God to warn us that the pleasures of sin are suicidal.
Satan shows you the bait. He doesn't show you the hook.
Do this. You need it. You want it. You'll feel good if you do it. There is some truth to it. The problem is sin doesn't satisfy.
And when I see all this happening and increasing, I know the coming of the Lord is near. It's near. And I want to keep my flask full of oil. The number of believers who have been deceived by the devil in this area is absolutely amazing.
And then they desires of deceit, and the way they succeed is by deceiving us, lying to us. Just lying to you. That just punch that little mouse button and get that nude up on the screen, or whatever your besetting sin may be. It's a lie. Your own conscience tells you it's a lie.
Sin does not satisfy.
Be killing sin, or it will be killing you. The evidence of being born of God is that you make war on your sin.
The amazing thing is that there may be a temporary thrill, but soon enough, the hole is bigger than it was before. Soon enough, the desire is greater than it was before. Let's say that you were playing some sport outside. It's hot out. It's miserably oppressive. You're desperately thirsty. Someone says, hey, drink this. Boy, it looks good. Just the bottle that it's in looks good, and it looks chilled and everything. And you drink it, and for a moment, it gives you this incredible feeling. But 2 minutes later, it creates an unbelievable thirst far beyond what you had before. Would you drink it? If it didn't actually quench the thirst, after 1 or 2 times, you wouldn't do it. You'd remember, I'm not going to touch this, because if I do, it's going to make things worse than before. And that leads me to the second principle, which is this. sin leads to more sin.
Unfought lust will destroy the soul.
We do not resist sin with a brilliant philosophical argument about the destructive nature of sin. We resist sin with hard, cold facts.
If you are duped by their lie that this little short-term pleasure is worth it all, then you're ignorant. And a sermon, or let's just say a text like this, is intended to fix that. Ignorance kills. So sin takes over the desires, makes liars out of them. They promise satisfaction and happiness, and they deliver cheap, fleeting, shallow stimulation that leaves us less content, less peaceful, less hopeful, more guilty, more restless, more discouraged, more enslaved. Learn this so that you can defeat the lie in the moment with truth. Learn this.
Joy.
They'll lead to death in the end. Verse 21 of this chapter says, the outcome of those things is death.
Button your pants up.
I remember one time, after yielding to the flesh, it was a relatively minor thing, you might say. But afterwards I was grieved in my spirit. And I said to myself, if I could only remember the way I feel now, if I could remember that before I was tempted the next time, I'd never sin. If I could remember the way I felt after sinning and hold on to that, the next time temptation came knocking at my door, I'd say no. Here's the problem. All that sin did was create an appetite to do it again.
Thank you, Joy.
Even if you had a miserable experience in doing it, even if it totally let you down, even if you felt ashamed in the process, what happens is that thing leaves and it comes back with appeal again.
No one is going to take away the suffering that's involved in resisting the trial of the devil. And the more you have yielded your mind to it and your body to it, the more difficult the resistance is going to be. Are you hearing what I'm saying? God is not going to deliver you out of that trial. He's not going to deliver you out of that suffering. He said you endure it so as to sin no more for the lusts of men, but to do the will of God. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Now I see people all the time want to be delivered out of the suffering. See, here's what they're saying. They're saying, well, you know, I'll stop doing that sin. God, if you just kind of do something to me where I don't have to resist it. I don't have to suffer in it. God